This podcast is brought to you by Raycon. BuyRaycon.com/ham. Go get your E25 True Wireless earbuds there. We've got them. We love them. BuyRaycon.com/ham. So Cowherd tweeted, did you see this on Monday about the match? Ratings are in. The most watched golf telecast in cable TV history. 6 million peeps. The whole personality and fun thing working out. Stop playing to the diehards. They're not going anywhere. Mostly told to get out of their recliners. I'm not sure which part of golf he's referring to that plays to the diehards, but it was great.
I think he's speaking more a little anti-golf culture that can be very stiff, very critical of just broadcast whenever they get a little loosey-goosey.
Not putting,
they're
like not putting gambling on every hole like I want?
Stuff like that.
Because they did that yesterday.
I think that's already
Sunday.
I think that's already too far, though. I'm even getting back to like an untucked shirt,
shorts.
Just the old school golf things about. I don't even know like a specific example, but just we all know stiff golf guy.
Yeah.
Probably the best comparison would be like a baseball purist, like a golf purist, kind of similar. Though I would say that is a little bit of a one-off given how loose it is. And golf does have potential to add golfing elements. You've always had the great idea to like add how much money every putt's worth on Sunday. Like that's sweet.
Right.
Like
so you care about 7th and 8th place even if they can't win the thing.
Yeah, and I heard a golfer say this. He's like on a podcast sometime during quarantine. He's like, you know what's crazy is whenever you're on Sunday down the back nine, you realize you make or miss putts after the fact. You're like, God damn, that cost me $150,000. But at the time, all you're thinking about is, I got to get to third place because I want to get to third or second place. You're not thinking about it from the financial standpoint because you're just locked in. This stroke puts me, maybe I get to the playoff or whatever. And that element yesterday of, putting up the gambling stuff, and it's easy on an event like that because it is so loose and you have so much dead time. I also think, they just benefited from having, Tiger Woods, since Michael Jordan's the biggest star we've had, like he's, to me, bigger worldwide than LeBron. I just think he's probably the third biggest athlete, you could argue, like ever, behind like Babe Ruth and Michael Jordan, just in terms of fame. Yeah. And Tom Brady, the NFL's never been more popular than it has been like the last 20 years. He's their best player. I don't know, his rival for like 15 years, Peyton fucking Manning, who was also a rock star. If Phil's your least famous guy, who's pretty fucking well known, just casual sports fans, and it's just they're in pretty good shape. If your two most famous guys in a broadcast are Tiger Woods and Tom Brady that are participating in your event, like your numbers are just going to be relatively high. Also factoring in a pandemic where a lot of people are just stuck at home or just at home, which they'd naturally be maybe Sunday anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing to compete against.
No, and it's also the TV window for it was like the whole afternoon. It came on at 12 Pacific and had like 30 minutes of, I don't know if that was built in. I don't know, were they going to just show them on the driving range for 30 minutes or was that because of the rain? Were they trying to wait and hope the rain would pass? But they did basically 20 minutes of pregame.
Yeah, I kind of like that, kind of setting the scene. You had them kind of loose.
I could have done with 10 minutes of that, but yeah, it was cool. Makes it feel big.
Yeah, I think I think they tried to just hype up the event. And again, you just got four guys who are all stars. Don't you kind of want to write them? It's kind of what other sports do with pregame. Yep. Press conferences in the NBA. In football's a little different, huh? Because there's not like a, pregame stuff really besides like some pregame warm-ups, right? It's harder. In baseball, the managers
you do a before kickoff interview in the college football a lot, right? Right before the national championship. Here's a question for Nick and Dabo.
But in golf, if we were watching, let's say this Sunday had been a major golf tournament, part of the build-up for that Sunday day is like when the guy shows up, right? Him on the range, they talk to him, right? A couple of the other guys that are chasing him before they tee off. There's kind of a build-up to the first tee for the leaders. right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. No, it worked. I mean, for me, part of what was cool about it was the first tee specifically seeing Peyton and Tom, especially Brady's tee shot was awful because Chuck said he'd played 18 holes already, so he wasn't tired. And then he was like working out in the parking lot. Charles said so he wasn't tired. I think he was just trying to figure his game out. And obviously Peyton's first shot wasn't great either. Tiger just striped the ball the whole day. Like you did come away thinking. Did you watch this? Like, I know Tiger's. It's hard because Tiger's playing these guys, and Phil's just Phil. So you can't really compare Tiger.
Also his home course, so he knows it like the back of his hand.
But he's just
right?
hitting his ball. Because one thing I thought watching was we could never go back to golf without the shot tracer, or the shot tracker. It's just when you don't have it for a shot, you just give up as soon as the guy swings. What am I looking at? But with shot tracer and Tiger's shot tracer was just straight every time. It felt like off the tee. He looks really good.
Yeah, if they had a tournament next week, where I think they do, right, in a couple weeks, early June, they have a PGA event. Might be like the Farmers Open or something. If he's in it, I mean, I would imagine he's got as good a chance to win it as anybody, right? He looked fresh, striping the ball, like you said, just his shot the tracer, just boom, right down the middle. Every time he's like, want to hit a little baby cut or a little baby hook. It was like, whoo, 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 whoo. He just looks good. He really, from a couple years ago when the back was all fucked up, to even last year after he won the Masters, he's playing in some of those cold events, you're like, maybe he had one last hurrah. Like maybe, like he's going to win just a random tournament probably one day, right? Not even if it's a major. He'll just like, oh, did you see Tiger won the Canadian Open? Right? Like to me, he's got that in him in the next couple years where I say Phil, not a shot fighter, but he's like he's like Frank Gore. Like he's still in the league, but I don't know if that's ideally the guy you'd want as your starting running back. Like Phil's career's over. Like his career of being a top-notch golfer is just it's done. Now he's almost 50 years old, and God, Tom Brady was terrible. Early on, he was searching. To me,
I think Tom might. Is there a difference between he's terrible and he was terrible? Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying he was frustrated to the point that makes me think sometimes maybe he's better than what he was because he wasn't hitting driver.
A classic head case move is on holes where everyone's hitting driver, good, bad, or ugly. It doesn't matter who you are. The driver is the shot on the tee. When you're hitting a 3-wood, to me, that's a pretty big red flag. Like he's already in his own head, which maybe he can't hit it. Two, like you said, if he actually, because they played a practice round on Saturday, if he got out there and played early and he's working out to try to get ready for this thing and he's hitting 3-wood on the course, did he know he was kind of fucked? Like my game is off right now. I look terrible. And I'm going to embarrass myself. Or Peyton just plays this little power draw, And he, like a normal golfer, he's going to hit some in the shit. And he's also I thought he hit a lot of just solid, 8 to 10 handicap shots for a big guy that just plays. Never really got explained how much Peyton actually plays. Probably not as much as you would think, right? I doubt he's like going out 3 or 4 times a week. Where it feels like when Tom does play, he does play a lot.
But it feels like Tom probably hasn't played until the last 3 weeks where he's probably played 15 times, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get ready.
And Tiger, if you're him, you don't want to embarrass yourself. If you're playing with Peyton, you want to beat Peyton Manning. Like part of it is if you're Tom, you're just like, I just want to be better than Peyton Manning. And Peyton to me was, I don't know, dramatically better.
Yeah.
Just given the circumstances, his game was just better, and he was just more confident about most of his shots. And
he was
still
more at ease.
Yeah, he's just more relaxed. This is where I told you, guy. I think people question would he be good on TV? I think Peyton is just when the lights are on, he can just.
He was pretty funny too.
Yeah, and I think he's naturally funny, and that's where football I think he'd be so good because clearly, like on a Monday night broadcast or whatever, he knows so much about football that if he could mix in the fun and the kind of just the TV character, which he's always just kind of naturally played with being like the football guy, which maybe it would be kind of difficult, right? Like, how do you turn that off and on, right? Because Peyton, when he was playing, was pretty serious until like the game ended. So when the game was on and the light was on and he had to like kind of perform, that's what Tony has been such a good broadcaster, right? Because he's kind of like Peyton Manning was the golfer right there. Just let it loose, man. Just let your knowledge come out, but be you, have fun.
How good was Caliendo's Tony, Charles, and Nance on the Brady shot?
Caliendo's loud Tony.
It was so good. That was the best part.
He's done this now 3 or 4 times. The Tony, and it's unbeatable. It might be his greatest performance. Just that one
it's so
line.
good. The Nance. I know. I've never heard anybody do a Nance. A lot of people do a Charles. I've never heard anyone do a Nance.
He does a pretty good Nance Romo.
Yeah.
Just going back and forth because he can play the Romo and then he can kind of play the Jim Nance. Caliendo's is good at what he does.
One of the best parts was Chuck. They get on the par 3. Tom's struggling. Chuck's ragging him. Chuck says, "I'll give you $25,000 if you can hit the green." Then he's like, "You know what? I'll give you $50,000 if you can hit the green." And Tom's like, "Okay." And you could tell it's like, oh my God. Like, even for Tom, it had to feel like pressure because his shot, the shot tracker was just straight for a millisecond and then a hard right turn away and then just dovetail into the shit. And the best part was that Charles didn't like feel bad at all for Tom. Didn't feel like, God, this is sucks to have your team. Because Charles is the last person who's going to feel bad for anybody. His golf game gets made fun of all the time. And he was just relentless. What did he say after that? Like,
I should have bet you if you could have kept it on the planet, not the green. Do you think Charles's golf game and the failures of it has helped make him become more famous?
Yeah.
Just because that swing is unlike any swing we've ever seen.
There's something inexplicable. Like everybody else, if you were that bad at golf, I think you would just stop playing golf. You'd be like, I guess I'm not good at golf. It'd be like, I guess I'm not a good F1 race car driver. I can't drive at those speeds. I'll just not do it anymore. He keeps rolling it out.
Did you hear his name drop? Where Justin Verlander tweets in. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'd rip Justin, but I played yesterday with him and DJ." Like he does just play a lot. You're right. Most people would quit. Like if you can't run, you just stop running. A lot of people go, I got bad knees, so I can't run, but I need to exercise, so I get on the elliptical. Charles just keeps on fucking on the treadmill. It's like, Charles, you stink. But maybe he just has the hopes that he'll ever get it back. Part of the broadcast, too, is just adding Charles to it, having the superstars. It is just it's an easy watch. It really is just an easy watch. Most people, if you're into sports, probably, even if you're not a big golfer, I'd say everyone has casually played golf once or twice. And then there's a large percentage of it that do it, 5 to 15 times a year with their buddies or over the weekends in the summer. Like I think it's become a little more mainstream for just younger, maybe not even just younger, but just guys. Like it's a sport that just, you can kind of play your whole life. People play it. It's relatively easy not to play it, but just to buy some cheap clubs, to just swing. You can suck at it. And you can, like if you suck at pickup hoops, after a while, you're like, this fucking sucks. I'm terrible. No one wants me on my team. But it's pretty easy if you just suck at golf to find a couple other guys that suck at golf too and just play with them and suck together and kind of complain about it. And even if you just hit one good shot, like you can always relate. Like, God, I remember when I hit that one pure 4-iron that I fucking knocked at 5 feet. Because that's going to happen to every human if you have an ounce of athleticism in your body. And then I think what humanized yesterday, like, well, Tiger looks fantastic. Phil won't shut up. You're like, okay, I knew these two things would happen. But then to see those two guys, especially Tom, just kind of suck, makes it goes, God, this thing is kind of hard. Right?
How about Tom's intro? Samuel L's like, was he talking about this course? He's like, his last round on this course, he shot a 108. Tom Brady.
Is that when Tom's like, thanks,
Yeah,
Sam?
he clearly, I think he kind of pointed at Peyton, like, Peyton, did you make him say that? But, and the thing is, like, really, Tom hit a ton of good shots. Like, the shot that's been, like, the highlight of the thing, I can tell you for me, like, I'm not someone who takes a divot after the ball, lets it fly, spins the ball back into the cup. And I'm not shooting in the triple digits either. I shoot in the 90s, so I'm not good. but I'm significantly worse than Tom because I know I don't have that shot in the bag. And he consistently, he consistently, his iron play actually is not bad. Off the tee, he was pretty bad. But with his irons, he's pretty solid.
There was a hole, I think 16, where 3 of them knocked it within like 5 feet. And Tom,
Yeah, that was the
Peyton
Russell
hit it
Wilson
within, like
hole.
18 inches. Oh, that's what it was? Well, I was watching the background by that time. When I saw Russell come on, I was like, well, I'm not going to make fun of Russell Wilson here, but it's cheesy element, but it's for charity or whatever. And then I look up, and Peyton and Tom just fucking blast. You're right. They are, when they do hit a good shot, his shot, like, if you got Tiger Woods from that spot that he knocked it in from like 160 yards, you give Tiger Woods 100 balls, he wouldn't knock the ball in. Like, that is just, it doesn't happen very often to good players.
Well, they did. There was a spot.
That was the shot of the day, right?
There was one spot where Tiger's ball is right in the line of where Phil wants to hit. Phil's hitting his second shot from the fairway or maybe just off the fairway. And Tiger's like, if you hit my ball, I'll give you the hole. Did you see that one? And Phil bounced the ball right over Tiger's ball from, I don't even, 140 yards out. I don't even know. Maybe less than that, but.
Well, that was kind of funny because at first I thought Phil was kind of being serious, like kind of doing some gamesmanship, like Tiger mark. And Justin Thomas was like, yeah, I've never seen anyone have to mark on this type shot. And then ultimately kind of relented and he didn't hit it that close. That's when Tiger was like, should I mark with one of my U.S. Open coins? I was like,
and Phil's like, well, I got a few gold ones over here.
So it's just that was the hole. There was one hole where they had to hit the same club.
Yeah.
Like you just hit one club the whole hole. And Phil tried to like hit a 6-iron because he wanted to then hit another 6-iron where Tiger, I think it was a different hole, but Tiger hit like a 4-iron and then he hit like a little low screaming 4-iron up on the deal. And Amanda was like, what club do you have? And Tiger's like, an iron? She's like, well, yeah, no shit. I think it's just, for Tiger and Tom, I think it's Tiger got a little looser as the thing went on. Tiger was just probably he's fucking playing so well. Probably a little harder they're not naturally like that. You could tell Tom, like, he can talk some shit, but I think he's naturally kind of focused. And then he's not playing well, so he's really kind of mad. I mean, think he's playing with 3 guys that, like, I'm embarrassing myself in front of Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Peyton. These are like my contemporary. These are my guys, and I look like I'm getting made fun of. He knows millions of people are watching. He had to.
Well, I mean, Brooks Koepka called. They're like, Tom, Brooks just called. If you get a par on the front 9, he'll donate $100,000. Like, he was the butt of all the jokes on the front 9.
Think when's the last time, like, be the equivalent of like having a little trouble with the quarterback exchange there, Tom? Just basic shit. He's got to be like, it's one thing to get yelled at if you fuck up a play, which I'm sure he has he's human. He doesn't get that much criticism of like, you suck.
Well, I would guess the people that talk shit to him aren't as good as him, right? So like when he golfs with Edelman, I bet he's a better golfer than Edelman. So Edelman probably talks shit the whole time, but Tom, ultimately, he's probably better. So whatever, it's fun.
But I think Tom plays with these type guys.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, like, do they talk? He might be better than this, and he's not playing with Tiger and Peyton on national TV and Phil. Yeah, I don't know. You're right, though. It does feel like Peyton would act the same no matter how he's playing. Would talk the same. Tom probably would not talk. If Tom was the best guy out there yesterday, he probably wouldn't have said much more than he said.